Aristotle, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to me about this fantastic film. We met during the Puerto Rico Film Festival when you presented the film last month. I
Oh,
even,
dope.
yeah, I even led the conversation with Luis during the day. I don't know if you remember. So congratulations on such a fantastic film. My first question is, why do you felt the need? Why do you did you feel the need to tell this story? Or let me put it this way:
Hmm.
how personal is this story to you?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for taking the time to do this and for watching the film. It means a lot. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think good art is vulnerable art. I think good art, requires the viewer to look inward and question the world around them. And I was just inspired to tell a story that was authentic to the culture that shaped me as an adult and as an artist, and to be able to depict my community and this world of graffiti in a way that we haven't really seen on the big screen yet.
Mhm. So, did you always envision this story as a feature film, or did the opportunity like came or arise after the success of the short film?
Yeah, so I made a short in 2017, and my objective at the time was to turn it into a play. um, a big life goal of mine is to make Broadway more accessible to inner city youth. And not only getting them in the door, but making sure they feel comfortable once they're in there. And that was really where my heart was. And then, through the grace of a higher power, Sundance reached out to me and really believed in me and believed in the story more so than myself, and greatly encouraged me to develop this short into a feature.
Excellent. I was, well, I shouldn't be impressed, but let's say that Luis did an awesome job as an actor in this beautiful film. But he's also a producer. So how did Luis became part of the project? First as a producer and then as an actor, or vice versa? How was?
He was an actor first, so he was one of the first. He was the first actor to attach himself to the film.
Okay.
Um, and this was before COVID. We were supposed to shoot this movie in March of 2020. And then obviously COVID changed that schedule dramatically. And then through COVID, one of our financiers went bankrupt. And we lost half of our funding. And Louis, not only an amazing artist, but an amazing human being in
Mhm.
person, um, found the money to keep us on schedule. So through him doing that, he ended up taking on the role of a producer. And he's not only been a dream collaborator in terms of his acting ability, but him and his son Sami have been great producing partners.
Excellent. During the presentation at the festival, you talked about the importance of urban art, graffiti specifically in this film you were talking about a minute earlier. You even introduced an artist from Aguadilla. Tell me a little bit about how this became such an important aspect or part of this film.
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, by no means is this a graffiti movie per se.
Hmm.
But we do explore the nuances of the subculture that is graffiti. And I mean, obviously there have been movies that have shown graffiti, that have used graffiti as a tool,
Hmm.
but at least from my knowledge, there's not many movies, if any, that explore kind of the nuances and the hierarchy of this subculture. So that felt like just a huge responsibility to me.
Hmm.
And I have a friend of mine who is very entrenched in the graffiti culture, and he was very instrumental in helping me use the right terms, while writing the script. And then when it came time to actually getting the art made and done for the movie, I was able to meet another artist through my friend Dredd named 2SA, who's an
Okay.
actual prophet in the graffiti community, like the highest honor you can receive. And they were both really instrumental in making a lot of the art in the film. And Mike 2SA just happens to live in Aguadilla. So it was really nice that when we showed the film in my West, that he was able to come and speak. And he has so many beautiful pieces on the island. I hope people go and look for them now.
Excellent. He did such a great work with the film. So now this actually talking about the graffiti brings me to my next question, which is the locations. Tell me a little bit about the locations. You obviously know the city because the story complements so well with the harshness of the concrete jungle that is New York. So
Yeah.
since you managed to merge or mash both elements, I think you even mentioned that this story is like a flower in the middle of cement or concrete. So tell me a little bit about the locations.
Yeah, thank you for noticing that and noting it.
Mhm,
Yeah, I mean, I think 90% of my job as a director is casting and locations.
mhm,
I think casting and locations doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you, especially when you're a low budget movie where you need to try to pull as many free elements as possible.
mhm,
So I just really wanted to showcase the Bronx in a way that felt new and felt fresh, and highlighted it in a way of how it means to me, which I think it's a really beautiful place, a really diverse place. Some of the most iconic artists have come from the Bronx. I mean, De Niro, Michael
mhm,
deGrasse Tyson. I mean,
mhm,
it's such a beautiful and unique place. And there was a movie made called The Joker, where they shot this dance sequence at some stairs in the
mhm.
Bronx, and it
Yeah.
ended up doing more harm for the community than good, even though I like the film. So it was just really important for me to not only showcase the Bronx in a way that it deserved with that layer of sophistication and care, but also worked with the community. So it was just a very collaborative, unison thing. They embraced us, we embraced them, and thankfully that showed on the screen.
Yeah, it showed perfectly and beautifully. So we're mentioning the casting, the character of Luis, which by the way is one of his best interpretations. He seems so comfortable in the character's skin. It even resembles many Puerto Ricans who fight day after day, or many people who fight day after day to survive. And being born in the Bronx myself, did you draw some inspiration from someone close to you? Because he's the type of characters that feels like someone close to maybe the director or the writer or someone close to the production. So it felt like someone that I know personally. So where do you
Totally.
draw the inspiration from?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the highest compliments you can offer a writer director is nuance to a character and
Hmm.
relatability. I mean, look, this is definitely not a depiction of my life. I've never robbed anyone. I'm not a graffiti artist, but on the
Hmm.
other hand, I know what it's like to grow up in the Bronx. I know what it's like to feel alone. I know what it's like to feel like you're meant for something more than what's in front of you, but you don't know where to begin. I know what it's like to be torn between two worlds. So it was just taking those personal experiences and kind of reinventing them in a way that felt true to my experience, but also could be something fresh for the audience. So it means a lot that you notice that.
Tell me a little bit about the chemistry. Asante specifically, his performance was sublime. He had a super generous guy like Luis by his side. It, everything can go off rails if the chemistry is not there. And this is a
Sure.
movie about the chemistry of these two beautiful characters. So how were those conversations with your leads like, or what did you do offset to strengthen that relationship that projects so genuinely on screen?
Yeah, well, I think the nature of filmmaking in itself is like a war. You're at battle every day, no matter how much money or time you have. You'll never have enough time or money. So
Mhm,
every day is a challenge, and I think in any relationship, whether it's, creative, personal, romantic, whenever you go through a tumultuous experience, you
mhm,
naturally build a bond with the person. Um, so thankfully, my production, they were really generous enough to carve out a lot of time for us to rehearse, and not necessarily rehearse, you know being even in the same room. A lot of it was done over Zoom, and it's not even necessarily rehearsing the scene, but just talking about the scene, doing as much discovery and exploration as we could before the day, because the nature of indie film is you don't have a lot of time to explore and discover. You have to really get the scene done in a short amount of time. So the chemistry was built through a lot of conversation, a lot of challenging beats in the script. And then once we were actually all on location with each other, it was like almost like a little bit of that rapport was established. And then we were able to just build upon that.
Excellent. I think my time is up. Thank you so much for giving me this time to talk about this fantastic film. I also love that there's Cara and Coral.
Yeah.
I actually interviewed them both for another film they made together. So it was so exciting for me to watch them both again doing such a great job. They're awesome. So
They are.
thank you for that, and I hope that this film gets a lot of exposure, and excellent distribution. That I know that it was also another problem or issue or situation that we're having with the film. So in Puerto Rico, it starts soon, so it
Yeah.
opens soon. So thank you again for your time. Gracias, un abrazo desde Puerto Rico. Así que te vaya súper con esta película y con todos los proyectos que tengas. Un abrazote.
Gracias.